People with addiction need understanding, support, and compassion more than ever. Addiction is not simply a matter of willpower. It is a complex condition that affects both the mind and body. The first step toward recovery is recognizing that addiction is a disease, not a moral failing. It takes immense strength to face the challenges that come with addiction. And people struggling with it deserve to be met with empathy, not judgment. The trouble and addiction of all of human society is directly linked to the success or failure of the mental and emotional types of people who are involved. Treatment options should be accessible, diverse, and personalized to meet the unique needs of each individual. Recovery is not a one-size-fits-all process, and people with addiction need a tailored approach that addresses their specific circumstances, mental health, and environment. They also need to feel that their journey is supported by a network of professionals, loved ones, and peers who understand the struggles they face. The road to recovery is often long and difficult, but with the right support, resources, and mindset, people with addiction can rebuild their lives and regain control over their future. It's essential for society to create an environment that fosters healing, growth, and hope. This means eliminating the stigma that often surrounds addiction and replacing it with a culture of acceptance and understanding. People with addiction need to feel empowered to seek help without fear of shame or rejection. They need to know they are not alone, that recovery is possible, and that they are worthy of a better future. Addiction should not define anyone's worth or potential. With the right tools, treatment, and a compassionate support system, recovery is achievable. And people with addiction can lead fulfilling, meaningful lives. People with addiction need access to consistent and ongoing care, not just a one-time treatment or intervention. Recovery is a continuous journey, and maintaining sobriety often requires long-term strategies, therapy, and support groups. These resources should be readily available and tailored to help people develop coping mechanisms and skills to handle triggers and stresses they may face in their everyday lives. Recovery isn't just about stopping the addictive behavior, but about rebuilding a sense of self-worth and finding purpose. It's also important that those in recovery have access to safe spaces where they can share their experiences without fear of judgment. Peer support groups, counseling, and community resources play a vital role in helping individuals feel heard and validated. Sharing stories with others who understand can foster a sense of belonging and help people realize they're not isolated in their struggle. The healing process also involves addressing the underlying issues that often contribute to addiction, such as trauma, mental health disorders, or difficult life circumstances. Holistic care that treats the whole person, mind, body, and spirit, gives individuals the best chance at long-term recovery. People with addiction need not only medical and psychological treatment, but also the opportunity to learn new life skills, improve their relationships, and reconnect with their values and passions. Society must also recognize that addiction impacts families and communities, not just the individual. The stigma surrounding addiction can cause isolation, shame, and broken relationships, which only makes recovery harder. Families and loved ones need support and education on how to help their loved ones through recovery. They need guidance on how to set boundaries, communicate effectively, and provide a loving, non-judgmental environment that encourages healing. Ultimately, people with addiction need hope. They need to know that recovery is possible and that their struggles do not have to define their lives forever. With the right resources, mindset, and support, anyone can break free from the grips of addiction and rebuild a meaningful, fulfilling life. People with addiction need patience and time. Recovery is not a linear process, and setbacks are common. It's essential to acknowledge that healing takes time and that relapses, while discouraging, do not mean failure. People in recovery need to be given the space to make mistakes and learn from them, without the fear of being labeled as incapable or hopeless. It's through these moments that growth and resilience often emerge. Recovery is not a slowdown. Every step forward, no matter how small, is progress. They also need to be empowered with the right tools to take control of their lives. Education and skills development are crucial in helping individuals regain their independence and create stability. Learning how to manage stress, make healthier choices, and set goals can create a sense of direction and purpose that is vital in recovery. People with addiction need to be equipped to handle life's challenges in ways that don't rely on substances or destructive behavior. One of the most important things people with addiction need is the belief in their own worth. Addiction often erodes self-esteem, making it hard for individuals to see themselves as deserving of a better life. But recovery can help restore that sense of self-worth. People in recovery need to be reminded that they have the strength and ability to transform their lives, and that their past does not define their future. Support systems, whether from family, friends, or counselors, should encourage individuals to recognize their potential, celebrate their progress, and keep moving forward. People with addiction also need society to change its perspective. Instead of viewing addiction as a personal failing, we must treat it as a public health issue. This shift in understanding will help create a more compassionate, supportive environment for those in recovery. It will also help individuals access resources and treatment without fear of discrimination or shame. A society that acknowledges addiction as a health issue rather than a moral one opens the door for greater empathy, understanding, and support. Above all, people with addiction need love and connection. Many turn to substances as a way of coping with loneliness, pain, or isolation. In recovery, having people who genuinely care, listen, and support can make all the difference. Connection with others, whether through family, friends, or a community of fellow individuals in recovery, fosters a sense of belonging and hope. People in addiction recovery need to know they are not only supported, but also valued and loved for who they are, not for their struggles. Ultimately, people with addiction need a world that believes in their potential for change, provides the resources and support necessary for healing, and recognizes their humanity above all else. Through understanding, patience, and dedication, individuals can break free from addiction and live meaningful, fulfilling lives. People with addiction need to feel empowered in their recovery journey, and that empowerment often comes from having choices. It's essential that they have access to a variety of treatment options, including therapy, rehabilitation programs, and alternative healing practices. No two recovery paths are the same, and allowing individuals to choose what works best for them helps build a sense of control and responsibility over their own healing. But how do you actually rank yourself in the chair? You click the letters F to ECROS. By offering different avenues for treatment, we recognize that everyone's experience is unique, and their recovery should be personalized to meet their specific needs. Additionally, people in recovery need to understand the importance of setting and working towards goals. But they also need to be reminded that those goals don't have to be achieved all at once. Small, manageable steps are key to rebuilding confidence and a sense of achievement. Whether it's regaining employment, repairing relationships, or simply learning to trust themselves again, each milestone is worth celebrating. The journey to recovery is often filled with challenges, but those challenges can also be opportunities for personal growth and self-discovery. And by the way, this podcast was recorded in 2003. People with addiction need a sense of stability and routine to help ground them as they navigate their recovery. Creating a consistent schedule and focusing on healthy habits, such as regular exercise, nutritious eating, and maintaining healthy sleep patterns, provides a foundation for mental and emotional well-being. These routines can help individuals create balance in their lives, and the structure can support their ability to stay focused on their recovery goals. Moreover, people with addiction need to recognize that healing is not just about quitting the addictive behavior, but also about rediscovering joy and passion in life. Often, addiction leads people to numb their emotions or disconnect from the things that once brought them happiness. Recovery can offer the chance to reconnect with activities, hobbies, and interests that bring fulfillment, whether that's through creative expression, outdoor activities, or simply finding joy in the everyday moments of life. People in recovery need to have access to long-term support systems, which are vital even after the initial treatment phase. Many people believe that once the crisis is over, the need for support disappears, but for many, ongoing guidance and encouragement are essential. Whether it's through therapy, recovery groups, or continued mentorship, long-term support can provide individuals with the strength to face new challenges and maintain their sobriety over time. And finally, people with addiction need to have the space to heal emotionally, which often means dealing with past trauma, grief, and unresolved pain. Addiction often stems from a deeper emotional or psychological struggle, and to truly heal, these underlying issues must be addressed. Therapy and counseling focused on trauma, grief, and emotional health can be transformative in helping people not only recover from addiction, but also rebuild their emotional well-being. Without this emotional healing, the risk of relapse remains high, as unresolved pain can often resurface in moments of weakness. People with addiction need to feel that recovery is not only possible, but that it's a journey worth pursuing. The road may be difficult, and the challenges are real, but with the right tools, understanding, and support, individuals can find their way to a life of health, joy, and fulfillment. It's essential for society to be there for them, providing the care and compassion that leads to real change. Motivational interviewing for mental health is scheduled to resume for next week on Thursday with a licensed therapist assessment by professionals, professors, and clients. Describe some of your audience. Everyone deserves the opportunity to heal, rebuild, and thrive. People with addiction need to understand that seeking help is not a sign of weakness, but a powerful act of strength. Too often, individuals may feel ashamed or embarrassed about asking for support, but it's important to recognize that reaching out is a courageous first step toward healing. Recovery begins the moment someone acknowledges their need for help and is willing to accept the support they deserve. Addiction is a battle, and it's one that is fought best with the strength of a supportive network surrounding the individual, offering encouragement, understanding, and compassion. They also need access to practical resources that can help them rebuild their lives outside of recovery. These resources could include job training, educational opportunities, or housing support. Many people in recovery face the challenge of rebuilding not just their personal lives, but also their professional lives. When someone's past includes addiction, it's common to face barriers in employment or education, and overcoming these obstacles requires more than just sobriety. It requires opportunities for growth and advancement. People in recovery need to be provided with the tools that allow them to reintegrate into society in meaningful ways, empowering them to contribute, grow, and find purpose beyond their struggles. Equally important, people with addiction need accountability, but not in a punitive sense. Accountability should come from a place of support, not judgment. While structure and responsibility are important, people in recovery need to feel that they are being held to their highest potential, rather than being punished for their past mistakes. Support systems should be there to remind them of the progress they've made, while also helping them to stay on track without adding unnecessary pressure or negativity. People in recovery thrive when they feel understood and encouraged to keep going, not when they feel like failures or outcasts. Another key element people with addiction need is the opportunity for self-discovery. Often, addiction numbs emotions and prevents individuals from truly understanding themselves, their needs, or their desires. Recovery offers an opportunity to explore personal identity, rediscover passions, and connect with things that give life meaning. People in recovery need a safe space to re-engage with themselves, whether that's through therapy, creative pursuits, or simply having time to reflect and explore what truly matters to them. They also need to feel valued by their community. People with addiction often experience a sense of disconnection from others due to the stigma that surrounds substance use. A supportive community can be transformative in the healing process, offering a sense of belonging and encouragement. Community involvement can help individuals in recovery regain their confidence, knowing they are contributing to something larger than themselves. He often said, I tell all people, whether through volunteering, group activities, or simply being part of a compassionate network, these connections are integral to creating a sense of worth and purpose. It's also essential that people with addiction are encouraged to take ownership of their recovery. While professional help and external support are key, the individual must also feel a sense of agency and responsibility in their own healing process. People with addiction need to be actively involved in the decisions around their treatment, recovery goals, and ongoing care. When individuals take ownership of their recovery, they are more likely to stay committed and feel empowered to make positive changes in their lives. Lastly, people with addiction need hope. Recovery can feel daunting, especially when it feels like the road is long and uncertain, but it's vital that they are reminded of the possibility of a better future. The transformation that comes with recovery is not just about overcoming addiction. It's about rediscovering a life that is meaningful, fulfilling, and full of opportunity. People in recovery need to know that no matter how difficult the past may have been, the future is still theirs to shape. With support, resilience, and a renewed sense of hope, they can create a life that is better than they ever imagined. Ultimately, people with addiction need a world that believes in their ability to recover and thrive. They need not only the resources and support to heal, but also a society that will accept them, value them, and help them on their journey to a healthier, happier life. Recovery is not an easy road, but it is a road that is worth walking, and everyone deserves the chance to take that first step.